Hello and welcome to Popcorn Arcade. I'm your host Bryce McEwen, and today we are reviewing The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
Truly, the tales and songs fall utterly short of your enormity, O Smaug, the Stupendous.
Was that an earthquake?
That, my lad, was a dragon.
Come now, don't be shy. Step into the light.
The Hobbit, The Desolation of... from now on, let's just call it The Hobbit 2. The Hobbit 2 is the Lord of the Rings equivalent of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, in the way that it is just a couple of hours of build-up, of absolute nothing, of nothing but anticipation for the next movie. Now, don't get me wrong, there were certainly some great bits in this film. A lot of those bits came from Gandalf. Now, Ian McKellen does a wonderful job. I would happily just watch him in a Gandalf movie for 3 hours. He could be Gandalf reading the paper and I would watch it. Also, Martin Freeman also improves his job of Bilbo Baggins. We see a little bit more character development from him, and what I really enjoyed was we get to see the One Ring corrupt him just a tiny little bit. It's interesting. And we also get to see a little more from Thorin. Now, he is the head dwarf, and we see him this kind of single-minded, has to win everything at all costs, don't care who dies to get there kind of attitude, and it's interesting to see. In saying that, though, for a movie that's only 3 hours long, there is not nearly enough character development, and that is one of the biggest gripes I have with this film.
No right to enter that mountain.
I have the only right.
There are many new additional characters added into The Hobbit 2, and the two biggest ones are probably Tauriel and Legolas. Now, these are the two elven characters that were never originally in the book, but were added by Peter Jackson just for this one. Now, Tauriel is the womanly elf who's very good at fighting, and Legolas is, of course, you know, from the first Lord of the Rings trilogy, and they add a lot of great stuff to the movie in regards to the action. But however, when they're not fighting, it's kind of like, why are you guys here? You're not interesting, you're unnecessary, you're boring, go away. I feel like the whole movie was just Legolas staring. It's like, Legolas, you can't stare your problems away. No matter how blue your eyes are, your problems cannot be stared away.
It is not our fight.
It is our fight. It will not end here. With every victory, this evil will grow. If your father has his way, we will do nothing. We will hide within our walls, live our lives away from the light, and let darkness descend. Are we not part of this world? Tell me, Merlin, when did we let evil become stronger than us?
My biggest complaint about the first Hobbit film is it's very hard to tell all the dwarves apart. At least in The Lord of the Rings, you had the Fellowship, and they're all easy to tell apart. There's 2 humans, an elf, a dwarf, and 4 hobbits. And a wizard, done. Solved. This one, there's like 12 or 13 dwarves. I can't even tell you the exact number because they all look the freaking same. I can tell you right now, there's Thorin, who's the head dwarf. There's Old Man Dwarf, who's like the old advisor dude. There's Young Heartthrob Dwarf. And then there's Pirate-looking mustache dwarf. The rest of them, oh, there's a fat one too. He's comic relief. But it's very hard to tell them all apart. I think that's something that needs to be improved on because it's hard to feel for these characters if I can't even tell who they are.
What do we do now?
Hold your breath.
Hold my breath? What do you mean?
Now, of course, it is The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, so you'd know you're going to see some dragon action. Now, what happens is this movie could have been retitled The Hobbit, Bilbo and Smaug Have a Tea Party, because basically all they do is talk for the whole time, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Benedict Cumberbatch plays the dragon, and he's very charismatic. He's my favourite new character to the series, and he's one of the most interesting parts of the series so far. In saying that though, you kind of want a climactic ending of the dwarves fighting the dragon or the dragon going to the town to be defeated. However, spoiler alert, you don't get any of that. All you get is the dragon feeling all high and mighty because look at me, I've got all the gold, and the dwarves like running around trying to trap him, but it doesn't work, and it just ends with a giant, unsatisfying cliffhanger. At least the first Hobbit movie, it felt satisfying. It felt like it was a part of a movie, but it felt like it had a satisfying ending. This one is literally just 2 hours of build-up for the next movie, which I feel like with a dragon battle and the Battle of the Five Armies, if you've read the book you know what I'm talking about, is just going to be too much into one movie, and I'm going to be stuck with a Return of the King 4.5 hour marathon that I'm going to have to get up and go to the bathroom to twice, so which means when it comes out on DVD, I'm going to have to keep pausing it to watch the whole thing. Peter Jackson, cut things down. You can do it. I believe in you.
Such is the nature of evil. In time, all foul things come forth.
If you awaken that beast, you will destroy us all.
Despite its faults, I would definitely recommend seeing The Hobbit 2 in cinemas. It's just one of those movies you have to see on the big screen to fully appreciate it. There are points of it where it will drag and you will get a little bit bored, especially when it comes to Bard the Bowman. He is the new human character in the film who's not completely evil and corrupt. You be the judge of whether you think Luke Evans did a good job or not. Personally, I don't think so, but he'll be in the next one, so maybe he can redeem himself in that. Who knows? In conclusion, it is a movie with great visual effects, great shots, great action. But at certain points it feels like it's been more than 30 seconds since we gave these people a big shot of the landscape. Here it is. Are you satisfied? Let's move on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. In conclusion, I would give this movie a 3.5 out of 5 because it's not awful, but it's by no means as great as the first Hobbit and no means as great as it could have been. But do you agree with me or do you not agree with me? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I've been your host, Bryce McEwen, and this has been Popcorn Arcade presented by Brutal Deluxe.